Hello everyone, I am Tacit, and today I'm going to be going over the Gems of War My Metal Pony event in which the Mecca Mayor is added to the game. So as far as this troop is concerned, it is pretty decent, both itself and the trait stone it comes with. A lot of good things to use green-blue arcanes on. As far as the troop itself, it is a double converter. However, it's a lower mana cost double converter. Of course, the most common double converter in the game is an 18 mana cost that ends up converting something to a color and then something else to skulls. However, this one does double color, and there are a few that are kind of like this, but out of all of them that do exist that are lower mana costs, it's actually among one of the better ones. So it converts all red to green and all yellow to brown, which is a really big red-yellow counter, which quite a few teams do use a lot of. There's even a red-yellow storm in the game. But what makes it pretty interesting is it has a 50% mana start. While even without this trait, it would still be able to into a mech team or into a beast team. This does allow it to work independent of these two kind of teams, meaning that you're generally never going to use it in pure beast or pure mech. You're actually going to be using it in other teams that can actually end up benefiting from having this kind of ability, since you don't necessarily need to use it for 50% start synergy, since it already has it itself. The fact that it can get a double convert for only 6 mana is pretty good tempo-wise. Obviously not as good as like Empower, double Empower, but for a non-empower option, it can get you a very, very decent start in the right context of the right team, and I could definitely see him being used ever so occasionally. Maybe not on like Guild War Defense or anything like that, but there are some occasions where your enemy team might be really heavy on red-yellow, and you might end up wanting to use a Mechmare. Definitely not something you would use in literally every team, but could potentially come into play as a hard counter on occasion, and overall one of the better glory troops that we've gotten so far this year, and we'll be showing a team for a little bit later this video. Anyways, aside from that, we have an event key drop table as per usual. This one is for the event key drop table of White Helm. As far as White Helm is concerned, there are a few things that are not horrifically bad here. If we order by base rarity and go all the way down to White Helm, we could end up seeing all the drops that are available here. Every single thing that you see here, with the exception of the 4 troops from Hall of Guardians, is available in the drop table. As far as mythics are concerned, both of them are good. So if you are going for one, you're getting something good regardless. Guard's Avatar, you probably see me using a lot on Tuesday events. We're even showing a team with it because of this brown-yellow restriction for the Hall of Guardians today. You can end up using a Guard's Avatar build, so that's probably the main reason you'd want to open keys. Archdiva is very situational. Main gimmick with this is it gives another mythic full mana. Well, obviously anything, but generally you're doing this on a mythic that could actually utilize these stats. For example, Lord of Slaughter, which has a high mana cost, so it gives it full mana, which is good, and then gives it a bunch of stats, which is good because it gives it extra attack that it needs and extra durability to not die, which it needs. It's a very situational mythic, but it's one to keep an eye on as as more mythics come into the game. There's going to be more and more uses for it as better mythics that it can synergize with keep getting introduced. It also has a pretty good final trait that barriers and blesses a random ally, which is pretty good because after you cast once, he pretty much can't do anything other than this final trait. So it's good that it's actually somewhat decent. So yeah, pretty good for drop table. If you're earlier on in the game, last week you were able to get Tesla, and if you did end up picking up a Tesla, well, this week you might want to go pick up Holy Saint Astra. Its biggest synergy is mostly with double Tesla or single Tesla if you only have one. It gives all humans 50% mana start, meaning basically Tesla and only Tesla, because for the most part, that's about the only team it really gets used for. There aren't too many good humans out there. Tesla's one of the few exceptions, and Holy Saint Astra is one of those main synergy options that you do with it. So if you end up getting Tesla, double Tesla last week, and you still don't have her, definitely make sure to do so, as you have all week to end up getting her off the event key drop table. Aside from that, there are a few utility troops here like Mercy and stuff like that, but those are a good majority of the higher rarity ones that you actually want to be looking for. Probably a single Holy Saint Astra if you got Teslas last week, and if you want to try for the mythics, neither of them are bad, so either one you're going to be getting at least something above the half decent point as far as mythics are concerned. So an okay week to use event keys. People might be a little bit short after going for Ironhawk, which is also in Soulforge this week, oddly enough. Anyways, as far as the guild related events, we do of course have a standard world event with extra magic and extra jiggle apparently. Biggest thing to make sure to do is just never take the high paladin. As long as you don't take the ultra rare, you should be taking the correct room due to how it's structured. Aside from that, so it basically just rarity order. Aside from that, it's a defender generator kind of combination here. with a brown-green restriction. There's quite a few loops that you can end up doing this. With mana generators, you shouldn't have any issue for mana accumulation, so that's pretty nice. And overall, it should be among one of the easier weeks due to the ease of access of actually mana accumulating, as some weeks are pretty hard to actually end up getting that mechanic in. But this week can squeeze it into pretty much any team, and then you just use an AoE spam until you kill out the enemy with whatever route you kind of want to do it with. And those are still jiggling all over the place. There was actually a patch that said they fixed it, and they didn't, though I'm kind of glad that's not fixed. It's very funny. Anyways, of course, today we have ourselves the White Helm faction event, and while this one isn't that good, do keep in mind that today is the only day that you can get the Guardian Crown. This is applicable to every Tuesday ever. As far as the faction weapon, it's only ever available for one day. This day specifically being Guardian Crown. It cleanses yourself, moves you to front for a bunch of durability. Very situational use cases. I feel like you'd almost never use it, though there are some really weird teams that can kind of use it. But you do generally want to get these if you have enough resources for it. It's either in Soulforge if you want to get it that way, or a bunch of gems if you want to go this way through it. It won't be available for like almost another year. However, most of these weapons, with a few exceptions like Life and Death and a few others, aren't really too good, and you'll be perfectly fine not having a Guardian Crown. But if you do want to get it, it is only available today, so make sure to get on that. Aside from that, other weekly events that we have going on. Wednesday, we have the Pet for White Helm bonus. Thursday, we have the Priest class event, which Priest isn't really used too much as far as hero classes are concerned in the current state of the game. It used to be very meta a couple years back before Divines got like a billion nerfs all at once. Current state of the game, it doesn't really do much compared to how much power creep we've gotten from other hero classes, and hasn't really gotten rebalanced since its major nerf. So overall, very situational, like yellow heavy, divine heavy class that just isn't worth using a lot of times compared to other better classes. And aside from that, this Friday we'll be having a pretty standard evasion event specifically for elves, and we'll also be getting a new weapon on that day. Aside from that, we have ourselves a pretty decent thing in Soulforge, though a lot of people may have picked it up last week, though if you didn't, or if you only got one, Ironhawk is in Soulforge. So if you only picked up one Ironhawk and you still need to get a second, or you have 0 and somehow have 8,000 diamonds laying around, now is the time to get the Ironhawk. Of course, it was available all last week in the event you drop table. However, you can also get it now just for 4,000 diamonds each, or 8,000 if you want to get double. Highly advised. That is the single best thing that you could do for farming in the entire game, and it's just really, really, really good loot. It's about 50% quicker than the next quickest method when it comes to verse farming and gnome farming, Gnomapalooza farming, all that. So it's definitely worth considering getting, and then building it into a Empower, into Dust Devil, into double Ironhawk. And then you're good to go for farming Explore 1 pretty much forever until they nerf it, though it hasn't been nerfed in, what, 2 years now? So it's sticking around, hopefully. Aside from that, it's such a good value that there's really nothing else to really mention. I guess Arc Proxy Evandra's a kind of interesting option. She's the only way to realistically do Uber Doom Skull, so if you haven't gotten the achievement for that, it's realistically one of the only ways you really can end up doing it. There are a few others, but this is like the main way you would do it. So that's maybe enticing to some people, especially if you want to go full-blown completionist. However, it is highly advised getting the Ironhawks if you still don't have them. Anyways, aside from that, as far as weapons are concerned, while Divine Protector not as good as it used to be back in the day, even though it hasn't been changed at all, Divines have. However, it's still a pretty good option. It has Cleanse on cast, it has Barrier on cast, has those really useful colors for Divines, which are red and yellow. Though there is a new trip that counters it now that was added this week. However, it's still a really, really good option to end up using. Only really used in 4x Divine teams. However, if you are building a 4x Divine team, this is normally the thing that you run on your hero in almost every situation, as it is generally going to be better value than going Guardian Hammer due to the extra effects of both Barrier and Cleanse, making it pretty potent as a first slot option due to that combination. Aside from that, we do have Doom Scripture. This, of course, is the bane of all Guild War Defend teams. Set this on a yellow Guild War Defend team with double Empower, and you'll probably be fine, or any other variant that you kind of want to do it with. Of course, do keep in mind getting the scrolls to upgrade this thing to max is insanely hard to do in the current state of the game. Hopefully, it'll still do more to make that easier into the future. However, if you're lucky to have very broken Guild War Defend teams and happen to have the scrolls laying around, you might want to consider it. This is more of an end game thing kind of thing, though. As you're progressing through the game, you could probably just skip on Doomed Scripture. It's a lot more important to go for the Doomed, the yellow one. I can't remember its name. No, I can't remember its name. But the yellow Doomed weapon that hits all enemies simultaneously and converts to Doom Skulls. That is the higher priority yellow Doom weapon, and you want to get that one before you consider getting Doom Scripture, as the other one's going to be better value. This is pretty much only ever used for Guild War Defend at the higher levels of Guild War. Anyways, that's the Soulforge. As far as everything else, let's go and get into some teams. So, of course, I have quite a few teams for this week. I'll also be messing with a Mechmare team here, just to kind of show off the new troop. We don't always do that, but this one's pretty relevant for once. So, as far as the higher level range of the World event, I'm probably going to be running a pretty standard life and death team, oddly enough. We can actually end up getting away with, which is kind of funny. So we can end up using just a Herald to end up getting our mana accumulation initially. Convert that into a bunch of purple, if I'm not mistaken. The restriction is a brown green as far as the game mode is concerned. So if you're going to switch out for a different mana accumulator and power, do be mindful of that. There are a few different ones you can end up using here. This is the one I mostly went for because it has Death Mark. It also has a little bit extra skull reduction on it, which is kind of convenient. And it, of course, converts to purple, which you really need. And it's basically just a standard life and death Weaver team. So you can go down that route. You could end up going for a weapon switch out, of course. You would end up needing to go for either a different true damage or simply go for more of a mana accumulation option and let Weaver do most of the work. So you might need to reconsider that if you don't have a life and death, which is one thing that you can end up doing there. Aside from that, you can just go for standard AoE. So like double Truffle, Gob Truffle into War and Peace. Forest of Trolls from the drop table right now. King Gob Truffle you get from throwing Chaos Shards at Amethrax faction in the Underworld. War and Peace is a weapon you get for free, and Leprechaun is just RNG from chests, but all really low rarity stuff that as a lower level team you should be able to get your hands on for the most part. Next, we have all the faction teams for today. So, of course, Standard Guard's Avatar, he's also available this week, which is kind of convenient in the event key drop table, so you can end up getting him there. Oh, also, one thing that I didn't actually mention, if you still want to pick it up, while it is a very, 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 very useless mythic, for today, tomorrow, and Thursday until Friday reset, you can still get the new mythic that came out last Friday, so if you still want to do that, or if you specifically want to not get it, make sure to save your keys until at least Friday or beyond, and if you do want to get it, you have until the end of Thursday, till Friday reset time to try to get yourself a copy, if you want to get that very bad April Fool's mythic. Anyways, as far as this team works, pretty much just like any other Guards Avatar quick kill team. It's basically just the alternative when you can't run Rowain. Next up, we have just a finesse team, triple finesse, kill it out, can run through the entire thing. Really cheap, really accessible. You might need to do a weapon trade out, but either the two strict weapons or a mana accumulating weapon will do you good there. As far as pure factions, one of the only few I've actually ran potionless. However, it is one of the hardest ones to do, so I do advise doing it with potions. So if you are going to be doing the faction this Tuesday, today, this is one of the harder ones to do potionless, so might be worth considering if you are getting to the point where you're doing a bunch of factions. But basically use the silence to make sure that they can't get mana there on their first slot. Use the Eternal Sentry to get a big attack boost. It also gives you some Light Storm that you mostly need for the attack boost. Your Gargoyle's main goal is to kill their Gargoyle before their Gargoyle kills your entire team. Basically you're just spamming Gargoyle until their first slot, or their second slot dies, because that's where the Gargoyle is located, second slot. And you just keep spamming it over and over again until you basically win. And essentially the battle comes down to, do you kill their Gargoyle before their Gargoyle kills your entire team? And that is basically the entire premise of a level 500 Explorer in Hall of Guardians. Is which Gargoyle will win first, your double versus their one, though their one is much stronger. As far as Priest class, you can end up just doing this with a standard yellow weapon, just get a bunch of mana accumulated into it. A lot of different ways to do this in the Kingdom. You can go Mercy with double links off the Paladins. You can use any yellow weapon, though of course if you have access to Dawnbringer, Dawnbringer is going to be your best route to do so. And for the weekend faction events, we have ourselves Invasions for Elves, as well as a new weapon coming in, which you could actually probably replace out Admiral Crystal for the new weapon coming out this Friday. I was just kind of using as a placeholder here. But yeah, you can just test it with the new weapon that's coming out. But yeah, it's just double of the invasion troop in order to do a bunch of extra damage to the towers. And then just a 50% mana start to get their mana rolling so you can cast them a bit quicker. And this will most likely be the new weapon coming out this Friday. You can end up just plotting right there, because I believe it is explode boost ratio off of Elf, if I'm not mistaken. I actually forgot off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Whatever it is, it's going to be definitely good synergy with the invasion, so you could just use that as your weapon for your hero then, the new one coming out. Anyways, lastly, this team I actually want to use, though I do want to use it against a real team. Can I find a real team? Though maybe not that real of a team. Can we find like an in-between of like a hard team, but not something that will destroy us instantly? Oh, Doomdax. Okay, I was right. It is Doomdax. Yeah, that's the yellow Doom weapon I was talking about. This one's higher priority than the one that's in Soulforge. Obviously, it's not available. It's available during a Drifting Sands week. However, that's the one I was referring to. There we go. Perfect. Let's go see it destroy us. No, it might. It has some power still. Yeah, let's go try this. So we're using Oshia's Tomb, Mecca Mayor, Wild Queen, and Mirage Queen. So one interesting thing about this is a triple elemental team with the the new Mechmare being non-elemental. However, it doesn't actually matter that's an elemental because it's still getting half mana start naturally, which is very, very beneficial for it. So right here, we're basically just going to want to go for a lot of mana accumulating initially. Biggest issue with this team, as with many teams that don't have it, is we have no Empower, which can be a little slow. However, we do have a Convert that will generally get up in one turn, which we just got, so that's nice. He, of course, converts all red to green and all yellow to brown, which I do not think we have alignment on. Oh, no. Let's double check, because I'm still not fully used to this Convert, but I do indeed believe that has no alignment. So he has a blue to yellow right now. We're basically just going to want to do a move that denies him from getting any value from that if we can, so we'll just take that blue over. He did not go for his Convert. I kind of don't want to take that Skull, though I kind of have to. We're using a hero class that doesn't have... oh, no, we are. Never mind. We are using elementals here, so we could go for a brown. Unfortunately, there's no way to take a brown. Never mind. Because if I take the... Oh, well, he's not actually using red. He's not getting extra turn value either, is he? He's getting like a Submerge, but Submerge doesn't really hurt us. So we're going to give him this. Should be fine. Oh, wait, he doesn't even go for the red? That's weird. He didn't even take the red off the board. Alright, so we should have alignment here, the yellow to brown thing, so let me just go cast this just to kind of clear things a little. It also populates the board with green, which we need in order to go steal his attack, so he can't do his triple damage attack. We should have... No, we don't have red to green, never mind. Okay, so we can't actually go for that. Luckily, we have a nice board clear option. It's boosted by how many blue are on our team, and we have almost a pure team of blue here, so we get a lot of ratio off of that. We do have alignment onto nothing. No, we still have it. So we are going to do this just to kind of clear the board a little bit. See if we can get something rolling here. We do have a Skull over there. Do want to keep a lot of this on the board, though, so we can get a nice Wild Queen. We can also convert all the greens to Doom Skulls if we so choose, so we don't want to do that quite yet. He does end up getting the extra turn value there. Though all we have to do is basically cast Mirage Queen, and we should win. That's a very hefty amount of damage. And yeah, we don't even need any more alignment. We just go burst it down with this again, and we win. But yeah, as you can see, he worked pretty fine as one of our core mana accumulators. Obviously, the Oshia's Tomb doing quite a bit of the other amount of mana accumulation, more so the board clearer than the actual convert. But it's definitely a double converter that can work. Compared to the Skull converters, I do feel like the Skull into mana accumulators are still going to be pretty good, especially the ones that can simultaneously do like half mana start or almost half mana start, like Divine Shpala, Forest Guardian, stuff like that. But most of the double converters that do into Skulls that are legends that have a better trait are probably going to be used a little bit more often. But the fact that he still has a natural half mana start for him does allow him to be at least usable in some situations. It's definitely going to be a particular hard counter kind of thing where you need to specifically make sure the enemy doesn't have red-yellow. Maybe their team is just really dependent on both those colors and you want to use it as your main mana accumulator because you could deny them while also getting the mana accumulation. However, compared to double empowers and stuff like that, it might be a little bit too slow at time, but if nothing else, it's still a very solid troop, especially for his rarity, and it's definitely worth messing around with. Anyways, guys, that will wrap it up for now. Of course, we'll be messing around with the faction here on the channel, as we do every single night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll also be messing with the World event, as I actually haven't gotten around to any of the battles yet, so we'll probably be clearing through all of our battles as well and messing around with that. If you guys still have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, as always. Greatly appreciated, and I'll catch you guys soon. Goodbye, everyone.